this is Kim with Lolly Doodle Studios. Sorry for being just a few minutes late. I'm kind of new to going live on YouTube and doesn't want to let me go live horizontal, which I don't like. So we'll just stick with a vertical setting. Give me 1 second to see if I can find us and pull that up. All right, I see us. 1 second. So, again, I'm Kimberly Sminky, Lolly Doodle Studios, Art and Lettering. I am a watercolor, acrylic, and brush letterer who loves to just share all the things with you guys. Right, so I'm going to share this over. Bear with me, I hate the beginnings of these kinds of lives. It just is boring. But anyway, we're going to get started. So last week, we started Watercolor Wednesday again. We used to do this all the time. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be difficult again, and it will not let me go horizontal. So we are just going to make do with the vertical, and I will figure out what is going on after today. But if you do come on, feel free to say hi. Let me know you're here. Alexis has the crud, but she is watching out for comments and for anyone to come on and say hello. So we started Watercolor Wednesday last week. Hello. And we painted our apple. So we talked about how to paint not flat apples, right? So if you missed that, you'll want to go back and catch that. And I do see there's something here in the corner of the screen. Let's see. Is that gonna fix it? Probably not. Bear with me. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Melanie. I'm so glad you're here. So yeah, last week we discussed how to not paint flat apples. So we kind of went with this, let's watercolor our way through the alphabet. So today's letter is letter B, and I asked all week for some suggestions as to what we should paint, and I did get a few. So the one that I'm going to go with tonight is a bee, right? A bee reminds me still of fall. I know a lot of people think of bees in the summer. I think of bees in the fall. So I'm going to get my paper out. This is the Aqua Pad by Claire Fontaine. I like this. You have to speak up, sweetheart. Hello. I still don't know where my comments are. Oh, Di Studio. Hi, Diane. How are you? So let's see. I know we're a little sideways and crooked because I wanted to go horizontal, but it won't let me. So let's just skip straight to the point. I have my watercolor set, my water set up here. Fresh water and a dirty water. If I can keep them separate, that would be wonderful. You don't need a lot tonight. I'm going to use my small Daniel Smith watercolor set because we are going to paint a bee, like a big old bumblebee. At least we're going to attempt to. I can bring us down a little closer in just a minute. I thought this would also be fun to do, I picked up some of these little frames, mini frames at my local store a couple weeks ago, and I haven't used them yet. So I thought maybe it would be cute to do the bee small enough that it would fit in one of these frames. So bear with me. I'm just going to pull the back off of here and take these little pieces out because I'm really the lazy artist and I don't want to measure. I don't want to get out a ruler and draw straight lines. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use this to give me my the size that's going to fit in the frame, right? So I'm just going to grab my pencil. Can you guys let me know how you are today? And I want to know, do you think of bees, not the letter B, but the little buzzing things? When you hear the word bee, do you think of summertime, late summertime, I suppose? Or I think of fall. I don't know why. So we're kind of on that verge of late summer into fall. When I hear the word bee, I always think of fall because I'm scared to death of bees. So why am I painting a bee? I don't know. I just think they're kind of cute when you watercolor them, right? So you think of sunflowers. That's a good one. That is a good one. We're going to be painting sunflowers. And Melanie, if you have not seen the new kits yet, if anyone has not seen our new watercolor kits, they're professionally printed on watercolor paper. They come with confetti dots of paint. And they come straight to your door, but they are full of little sunflowers for the fall. So we have some Highland cows with their little sunflowers, and you would get three in each packet with the paint to paint it. And you would also get the instructions linked to a video tutorial. You'll also get a brush, right? So you can't beat it if you want to learn how to paint. And if you like sunflowers, there you go. Crazy kid, you do too. Di, you never thought of bees for fall. That's the thing. When I think of bees, or when this time of year rolls around, I guess my brain can't avoid from thinking about bees because I feel like they're everywhere. I don't like to go outdoors. I feel like every time I sit down, there's a yellow jacket right there, or, something ready to sting me. Let's see if we can get in here just a little bit closer. So that's my little story about bees anyway. They make me think of fall and then they're like usually really aggressive. Can you tell I'm not a fan of bees? Anybody on here who does? Melanie, you might be the one to ask, why can't I see any of my comments while I'm live on here? I can't see any of the comments. Maybe you can tell me about how to do that for next week. But anyway, we're just going to head and get started. So my bee has to stay within that part of the square. So we'll go ahead and get set up and get started painting. I have my little plates we used last week. This is, we're just going to re-wet and use this paint. And I'm going to use the two colors of yellow that I have, which are New Gamboge. Yeah, Lexi, you have to speak up, sweet. Yes. Okay, thanks, Melanie. I'm going to put my yellow here on the side. Just a little dot. Tiny little dot will do you with watercolor. So I'm just going to do that. I might pull in some other colors. We definitely need some black. So I'm going to find, instead of mixing my own black, I'm going to just grab a black I'm sorry, I was running late from my job, so I was kind of a little late getting myself set up, so I should have had all of this set up, so I apologize. Hold on while I find my black. It's gonna hide from me because we're live. I will just quickly grab one of my kits here in just a second. I've got some Payne's Gray, and then I'm just going to grab black out of, we'll just grab the old Maylang palette for the black. Okay, so the kind of thing that I wanted to touch on with painting a bee tonight would be, last week we worked on painting, oh gosh, what did we work on last week? About making things flat and leaving a lot of white space. We also touched on how to keep, I think it was in last week's video, but I want to touch on keeping like how to clear up an oopsie, right? So you'll understand in a minute. When I go to paint, I'm just gonna laugh. Just gonna laugh. Here's the thing with a B, right? We're gonna use yellow, and yellow is gonna butt up against black. And if we've learned anything about watercolor up to this point, if paint is wet, if two colors are wet, if you have one puddle and another puddle, and those puddles touch, what happens with the puddles? I would like for you to let me know below in the comments while we get sketching our little bee. If I have two wet puddles of paint on my paper and they touch, what then happens? If you know, let me know in the comments real quick while I am getting my brush. I'm going to grab this this Fumui extended point brush. They look a little bit strange, but I'm actually really liking them. Oh my, what, honey? They blend, exactly. And sometimes we want them to do that. That's the beauty of watercolor, is that they blend. But sometimes we really don't want them. We don't want them to blend, right? So if it's two colors that don't look good together, we don't really want them to blend, or we might not want them to blend a lot. So we're gonna work on that tonight, because we're gonna use, I'm just gonna wet some of this yellow here and add some water. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you are not on my email list, I will drop a link below to go get on my email list, because I'm going to draw and send out to everyone on the email list a little bee that they can then paint themselves. These little frames are from Michael's, so available in your area, and they're always like buy one get one free or buy one get one half price. So you can paint your own little bee. Even if you don't look at bees as a fall creature, save it for next summer. It's just to practice your painting, right? So I've got my two colors activated there. I'm going to come down below here and grab my other brush. Grab my other brush, and I'm just going to come over here and activate. This is Payne's Gray, which Payne's Gray is kind of like a cross between blue and black. And remember, I've got my black that I'm going to use straight out of here. So I'm going to wet that and let that get activated. But what I want to do is show you that when we're painting, whether we're painting a bee or anything else, and I take this paintbrush, put the black on there, take it out of there and put it on here. There we go. So if I take this and I have a lot of water and a lot of paint on my brush, and I drop this, let's go right here, and I put this here, see how there's lots of water there. And then I'm going to switch it over, because we know bees, or the bumblebee, is black and yellow. I can come over here and grab some of this yellow, or even this more golden yellow, this one here. And if I put that here, we're fine, right? I can put them here together. But what happens when these two touch, like Melanie said, is that they will immediately start to blend. And typically, because the black is a lot stronger of a color, it will bleed over into your yellow. and you may lose a lot of that yellow. So give it a few minutes and you'll see what it's going to do there. So we do want some of that, we just don't want a whole lot of that. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that whoopsie if it does occur while you're painting. Whoopsie, right? Because we all make them. I know I do. I make tons a day. But anyway, think about a bee, and I just think about like a little head. This is not going to have to be perfect real life bee. And then I think about kind of almost like a kidney bean shape with like a pointy butt. That's what I think of when I think of a bee. Then of course there's usually a wing on one side and a wing on the other, right? Antennas, legs, all that jazz. But we're not going to get too into realism right now. You see here what's happening with my black into my yellow. I like that. But here's what happens. Say when I'm painting small like that and I put this yellow here, I probably could get some more of that color. Put that yellow down. And I want to come over and grab some of that black and put it there. And here's what I mean by a whoopsie. It's going like so far into the yellow. If it's a small area, it may just get eaten up, right? So I use a lot of water, and you'll always hear me talk about glistening paper, not huge puddles. Now I have huge puddles on this paper for a reason, because I want to show you how to fix, I think, are we still in? Yes. I want to show you what to do if, God forbid, something like that happens. It's not the end of the world. You can grab a paper towel from off the side and dab it, or you can use your brush just like a mop. So I'm going to take my brush, clean it with fresh water, kind of tap it, and I'm going to come in here with the brush and pull that dark paint back over. So I'm mopping up a lot of that back up with my brush and just tapping it onto the paper. Right? So we're gonna trying to make learning a little bit fun here, just a little. So learning how to learning how to correct mistakes as they might happen, right? And that'll sort of fix that when we get into our bee. A second. Does that make sense? If you have questions, please let me know. Right, so, okay. So my little bee, will come back over here to my bee. Try to center this just a little bit. Get our paint here with, what, 4 colors? We could get away with just 3. Make sure that we are in. Okay. And if you like this kind of thing, please let me know by liking this video, perhaps sharing it out, sprinkle it out into the YouTube universe, and subscribe to the channel. So we will be doing this every Wednesday, and other videos will come up throughout the week as well. So here's my little bee. I'm going to take my paint with my water, and I'm going to start with the yellow back here. Can everybody see this? So, and I like to leave some white space on my paper here and there. Too much water on my brush, so I'm going to use that like a mop again and pull some of that up. See, I'm just using the tip, kind of tapping that paint on there. I want the top of my bee to be just a little bit lighter than the bottom, because I'm trying to create a shadow as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to do another, and I want to avoid this part. I'm going to try to avoid the part there with my bee's wing, okay? So I'm just kind of tapping with my brush. I ended up switching to my Princeton brush, but we could use the other brush. Use what you have available. So I'm just keep coming in here. Maybe I'll get some of this darker yellow, tap that. Just pick it up and try, Diane. The worst thing is going to happen is that, you know, you start over again. That's all. It's paper. It's paper. I know you do a lot of very detailed, intricate work. The thing that watercolor forces us to do, that was very hard for me as well, is to relinquish control, because it is very hard. We can control the water somewhat, which is what I'm trying to teach you to do, but we cannot control the water 100%. So I'm going to jump in here now. Before my two yellows dry, I'm going to take some of this, my Payne's Gray, which again, like I said, is sort of blue, and I'm adding quite a bit of water to it. I want it to be see-through. Maybe I'll tap a little bit off on my paper towel. And I'm just going to start tapping. It's still too much water. I'm going to tap some of that in there. And I'm doing like little lines. You'll see here now where, when I was trying to show you here, how that black or that darker color, those two colors are going to mix. And if they mix too much, you just kind of have to know how you're going to save the day, right? Or you can just let it do what it's going to do. So I'm just going to add a little bit of darker, just plain old black watercolor on top of that. And I want it to have that fuzziness of fur that a bee would have. I can kind of pull it up and out around the tops. I want it to look fuzzy. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to come up here again, and I'm going to give one more little yellow kind of stripe around above the wing and up into the head of the bee. Again, we don't have to worry about being perfectly perfect. And if we want to introduce, say I want to introduce a different color, or I have some browns over here. Hello. Hello from North Carolina. Thank you for stopping by. So I'm going to take some of that brown, and maybe I'll drop a little bit of that into my yellow just to give it a little bit more depth. This is the fun part. Just add some more color, let it mix. If it's too much going on, get in there and just mop that color, that water off. So I've got my yellow in. Now I have to come back in again, and I'm going to add some more of this blue. And remember, I'm trying to leave my wing open. I'm just not putting the color in there. We will need another color for the wing. At least I'm going to use another color, but you can use whatever you have. So I'm using that blue and some of that black. I'm just kind of pulling it along with the tip of my brush. I want to leave some of that white of the paper to show through, because that's how we show highlights, right? So our gray, when watercolor dries, it usually dries a lot lighter. I'm just going to lift some off. So I want to build that color up. I can build it up with my Payne's Gray, which gives that blue, gives that black a little bit of depth. I want to touch that and let it mix in with my yellow, but it's mixing a little bit too much for my liking right here. So remember, I'm going to come in with that dry brush. It's wet, but I dried it on my paper towel, and I'm just going to pull it towards the color, my strongest color, so I can pull some of that black back over. And then I can come in with some of my brighter yellow. right? We can always go darker with watercolor, but we can't go lighter unless you use white, right? And then it's typically not considered watercolor. So am I driving you crazy yet? I feel like I ramble when I get on here. I'm gonna add some more dark to that middle of the B. I'm gonna come back down here. This is drying a bit, so I just want to add some like little strokes, almost like stripes, just to give it some depth. Okay. What do you guys think so far? Do you feel comfortable that you would try this? I am going to send out a free little template probably tomorrow. So if you are on my email list, you'll get that. If you're not, there I will put I'll put in the description when I'm done where you can go to sign up to get that freebie. As I said, I was at work a little bit late today. So we're almost there with this bee, right? I'm gonna take my brush, dip it in water. It's got a little bit of water. And I'm just gonna wet my wings from the outside and I'm gonna pull it in, right? So what I'm gonna do is let that then bump into, yeah, it's not hard and it's fun. Worst thing is you just start over again, right? So now my wings are going to start picking up some of that black. You can see where it's pulling it out through, and you can help it along a little bit using the tip of your brush. My paper is just slightly wet. It's just damp. You can get in there and just make these weird little, like weird little shapes. If you ever looked at an insect's wing, they're not perfect. They're just made up of these little, like organic shapes, almost geometric, but not. And I just like to do that, right? And I didn't end up getting any extra color, but if I want to, I can use, what, sweetheart? It is easy. I make it look easy because it is easy. And what you have to do, the only thing you have to do is start. And if you don't get it right the first time, you just keep trying and try again and try again. I am here to tell you it is okay to start over as many times as you need to. I have done it myself. So I'm going to pull just a little bit of that pretty, it's very light, but pretty little blue here into my wings. And I'm going to let them dry. I can then, sorry for all the as well. I'm going to give my bee, just with the tip of my brush, a very little bit of paint. I'm going to come up and bend it forward for like a little antenna. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to come up and out and just give it a bend for an antenna. We're not going for realism. We're just going for, when someone looks at this, we want them to kind of say, oh, that looks like a bee. Right? We're not going for perfection. I can round this belly off more. You don't have to have such a skinny bee. Right? But I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to pull out some little legs, bend it. Maybe just from the other side, you would see maybe just a little bit hanging down. And we'll give him one more set of legs right about here. And nothing is perfect about our bee or his legs. I'm just giving him what look like could be little legs. I'm going to fix that little bit of yellow. I'm just going to fatten him up a little bit. He's going to be a nice full bee, right? So guys, I'll just, I like to do a little mix of the lettering along with the painting, because that's what I do. I want to give a little bit, so you take what you need and leave the rest, right? So when you are hand brush lettering, we're not going to do the print alphabet like we did last time, but I'm just going to come in here and I'll do it a little bit large. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to come in and up on the tip of that pen. Thank you so much. We're going to come in on the tip of the marker. As we come around, we're going to press down on that brush marker to make a downward, a thick downstroke. We're going to come up, over. So anything going up is thin, anything going down is thick. And if you would like to learn more about this, please subscribe to the channel and look into joining the Brush and Script Society, where each month you get new workbooks to practice your lettering with meaningful words and phrases. We're going to be doing watercolor in there and painting as well. So mostly all of my templates will be available in there, so check that out. So when I do that B, I'm coming up, over, and then I'm going to press down. And as I come back up, I'm going to lift. And yes, I'm a lefty, but if you're right-handed, it's the same thing. You're going to take that pen when you're coming up. You're staying on the tip to give just a thin line. I'm doing this with my right-handed, guys. I'm going to come up and over and press down. If I can do this with my right hand, you can learn to do this with your dominant hand. I mean it. So I'm going to come over again, light, up, light pressure. As I come down, I'm going to press, over, and pull up. So that's if I was right-handed. I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to write the word B, just very small below the B, and just like I did here. I'm going to come up, swing around, press, up, over, press down, swing around. Can you see what I'm doing here? Around, over, press, lift up, do the same, around, up, and then press down, lift up to the tip. So there's my little B. You guys got to let me know what you think. I hope you like this. I want to hear from you. I'm doing this for you. I love to do this, but I also want to help you. So I need you to let me know below in the comments what you want to see here on the channel. And I want to know, like, next week we're going to do C. So what are we going to paint for C? I want to know what you want to see. Okay? So I'm going to drop off of here tonight. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And join me back here next Wednesday for more watercolor. There will be some videos that pop up here and there in between that as well. And I just want to say have a great night, and I appreciate you guys. Bye.